You said in the video that you dropped out of school the further on in grade you got. Was that true? Expand on that.
That's very true.
You don't have to hold it.
I'd rather not hold it anyway, but that's very true. I went to middle school. Middle school was real hard for me, and so I just decided I wasn't gonna go. I mean, it's just that simple. I didn't even go to a regular high school. I was too bad. I didn't do nothing for myself until I started to realize I wasn't gonna get anywhere unless I did do something for myself. No one was doing anything for me. You know, somebody will say, go ahead, you know, try, but they don't push you. You know, you got to push yourself, and you got to make your life what it is, and that's pretty much all I have to say. And I went to the library every day, studied as hard as I could, and nobody told me nothing. I had to do it on my own, and it was really, really hard, but I did it, and I got my GED, and I was just, you know, I did what I had to do.
Thank you, Tanisha. Now go sit down. Okay, this is Paul. Paul was able to go to Salem with us. The lowrider that we picked out, I wanted to use a lowrider. Put your head up, son. I want to use a lowrider because I wanted to do a video that appealed to young men so they could see the connection with math and cars. And did it work? Because all you young men up there were quiet. I watched you, okay? So, Paul, what you think of the video?
I liked it.
I beg your pardon?
I liked it.
Tell us about your experience this summer.
It's fun.
It was fun. It wasn't fun when I had to go off on y'all.
Nah, because, man, we trying, but you started tripping and stuff. So.
Now, be more specific.
Like, when we did our work and stuff, and then we started getting tired and started giving up, and then started yelling and screaming and kicking people out. So we straightened up. And we did good.
How you doing now in school?
All right.
All right. Well, I'm going to come talk to your teachers. Have a seat, Paul. Thank you. LaToya was our most humorous talent. Come up here. LaToya, were their packets that difficult?
Yeah.
Why?
They was just hard. They was hard. It was too much packets.
Now, you know, the one thing that we neglected to say is that all these children, our average growth in math was 2.5 years. So LaToya's math growth went up 2 years, so they couldn't have been that difficult because you could do the work. How you doing in math now?
All right.
Y'all got to be a little bit more articulate. Tell me, what do you remember most about the summer of '98? This last summer, our project. What do you remember the most? Besides the packets. Take your time. We ain't open that chicken until she through. We're gonna come back to LaToya so she can think. Don't you sit down. What school do you go to now?
Jeff.
How do you like Jeff?
It's all right.
It's fine. You know, you go to Jeff now and the hallways are quiet. What does that tell you? Kids are in school. Let me get out the way. You guys be quiet, please. Come up here. Jamila, she also scored a lot of growth. She tested a tad above her grade level and then tested out 10th grade level. So I don't know, isn't that great? What do you remember about the summer?
Well, I remember going to math class, and at first it was too easy or whatever. And then I explained that to y'all that the work was too easy, so y'all started challenging me, and it helped my growth in math.
How'd you do when you started school? Did they give you a pre-test to determine where you are in math in the school that you attend now? She goes to Whitaker too, by the way.
No, I take the algebra class that I took last year, and we just got our midterms like a couple of days ago, and I got an A in algebra and a B in math. So.
All right. Okay, Tina also was one of our stars. Tina scored 4 years of growth in just 7 weeks. Now, isn't that something? You go, girl. I have learned so much from Tina because Tina proved to me that not only can our kids learn, but they want to learn. But the system that they're in, and I'm not being overtly critical, but it's jacked. So, Tina, how do you like the video?
It's good.
Didn't you tell me you wanted to be on TV more?
Yeah, y'all didn't show me enough.
After all that? So, how are you doing in math? And she goes to Jeff, by the way?
I'm doing real good. My grades are staying up.
Good. Very good. Thank you, Tina. Now, Latrice, look at the camera, Latrice. We like Latrice. We like messing with Latrice because it's always the quiet ones that you got to watch. Right, Latrice? Now, it's interesting. When Latrice took her post-test, she scored 2 years of growth in just 7 weeks. Latrice couldn't believe it. She was arguing with me in the testing center. Oh, that's not me. That ain't that. Remember that?
Okay, yeah.
Why'd you not believe it?
I don't know. I just didn't want to believe it.
Why didn't you want to believe it?
I don't know.
But do you believe it now?
No, not really.
Still don't believe it. Still in disbelief. Okay, thank you, Latrice. What'd you think of the video?
It was good.
It was good. Do you think you look cute in there?
No.
All right, go sit down. Thank you. Saria was another one of our talents, and I had to go off on Saria twice in the class because you know how there's certain students that get on your last nerve. Saria wasn't one of those students because we didn't allow her to do that. We didn't let her behavior get to the point where it was so disruptive that we couldn't do our work. So one of the theories that we based revolutionary math on is on the work of Lisa Delpit. Do you have that book with you? Anybody have that book handy? I just want to show it. Oh. Thanks. Do you remember when I went off on you, Saria? And tell the people what I said. How did that all transpire?
I don't know. You just said if I didn't want to do it, then leave.
That's right. But in the Portland Public Schools in regular math class, kids don't have that option. They have to do it. But it's also in math class that kids have great difficulty in their behavior because they don't understand the math. So what did you learn from this summer?
A lot.
A lot, such as? We're going to have to do revolutionary speech next time. Revolutionary diction and revolutionary vocabulary. Any final words? No? Okay, so sit down. This is the book. Thank you. This is the book that we use. It's from Lisa Delpit's Other People's Children. And she was somewhat critical of the way traditional math class and traditional education is being conducted throughout this country, especially as it impacts urban kids and kids with different learning styles. So I don't know where this book came from, but oh, you're going to want your book back, huh? Dupree was one of the first kids, come here.
What? My favorite?
He was one of the first kids to prove to us that we kind of knew what we were doing. He scored 2 years growth in just 7 weeks. And we brought his post-test so that you can give to his teachers to show that Dupree certainly can learn math. Dupree, what do you remember most about the summer? Am I embarrassing you?
No.
Okay.
That we learned more.
That you learned more?
Yep.
What made you learn more? Come up here. Face the audience. What made you learn more? Not a switch.
Just to be able to do higher grade level math than I normally do in school.
Okay, very good. And again, Dupree scored 2 years of growth, and we have his post-test so he can show his teachers that he can do the math. Thank you, Dupree. Latoya, I want to finish up with Latoya. Now, one thing we didn't say is that most of our kids were in a study group, and again, they studied math Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and on Sundays I called them to make sure they were doing their work. So Latoya, what do you remember the most about the summer? Come on, girl.
The work.
The work, yes. You know, I thought the best part of the video was when the kids were complaining about the work, and she complained oh so succinctly, right? Yeah. How you doing in math now?
Good.
Okay, she goes to Jefferson too, by the way. With us, thank you, you can go sit down. With us is Harleen and Richard. Would you two come up here from CMAC? Could CMAC come up here? Now, one of the things that Lisa Delpit says in her book, Other People's Children, is that children in the urban area, they don't go for the okie doke. Just because, are you filming me? You ready? You can tell I'm doing a TV show simultaneously, right? Okay. Just because you have a degree or a certification doesn't mean that children are going to automatically respect you, okay? That you have to earn their respect. And CMAC, with Harleen and Richard, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Carrie.
And Carrie, they're challenging the school district because if you look at the test scores, you got to wonder what's up. And look what we did in 7 weeks. And we're not being critical of the district, right, Mary? We're not. But we're just wondering what's up, and these people are challenging the district. Richard almost went to jail this week. In fact, all of them almost went to jail by protesting at Boyce Elliott. Am I exaggerating on that, Harleen?
No, you're not. We expected to go to jail.
Oh, criminals! What happened?
Well, we went to Boyce Elliott, and the whole reason that we went to Boyce Elliott was to look at the building plans that the principal had. Building plans basically lay out a story of what's going to happen that year, quarterly as well as for the year. The building plans that they have at Boyce Elliott is really no different than the other schools. These are building plans that were supposed to...
Dupree, be quiet. Excuse me. See what I mean? You got to... Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
These were plans that were supposed to have been implemented last September, and they're still in a draft form. So we really went up there to see exactly what the building plans had to say. They didn't have timely quarterly indicators. They didn't have who was going to be responsible for the change. It didn't say anything about when it was going to be finalized. So based upon that, we started to take some action. And I think I need to say to the audience, CMAC, the acronym means Community Monitoring Advisory Coalition. This is a coalition of African American, Hispanic, Native American, Asian, and low-income parents.
Okay, Richard, now Halim alluded to building plans. You're talking about building plans in terms of bringing the school up to academic standards?
That's correct. The building plan is a path that ensures the educators how they're going to teach the students that process. If they don't have building plans, how can they actually set up how the students are going to be taught? So actually the educators, the principal has the building plan, give it to the teachers, and they develop their lesson plans based on those building plans. They should have outcomes, it should have benchmark, and should have testing periods. And that is the only way they will actually see how we're bringing the students up to grade level.
Now, the district does have an intervention team, though, right?
Well, it does have an intervention team, but to this day, we don't know how the intervention team is going to work. We haven't seen what is the process. We haven't seen what kind of plans they have, or we haven't seen what kind of criteria they're going to follow in certain instances or in the circumstances they're going to find. We do know that they need also a plan on how they're going to really bring the school to reach the levels of SIM and CAM.
Loris, would you come down here, please? Now, excuse me, could you come here, please?
Yes.
And you are also a member of CMAC?
Yes, I am.
How important do you think it was that the superintendent identified the 25 worst performing school? Do you think that's important? And then the Oregonian had an editorial about it yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Actually, my reason for involvement began at Binsmead Middle School, and it was one of the schools named in the 25 lowest performing. And so for me, I've spent the last 2 years fighting to change the way that things were happening there. And for me, it was just like a validation, you know, that it's definitely wrong and something has to be done. So I think it was really important. I think it's important for all the parents who have kids in those schools.
Now, what do you mean by something is wrong? What would you say are among the problems at that school?
Oh, I'd say the biggest problem is that the climate seemed to be one of disrespect and distrust. And it seems to me that it was already predetermined that the kids that went to that school were not likely to succeed. I think that the curriculum reflected that low expectation.
Okay, we have one final member of CMAC. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but, oh, two, I'm sorry. Please come here. Now, I also read that CMAC is involved with challenging the school district on the ESL plan. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, well, actually, we're challenging. It's not actually challenging, I will call it, because I think one of the things that we're requesting for them is to give the services that all the students deserve, not only the mainstream, but ESL, and we're not getting that. So we're just requesting what our children need to receive.
And where do you think that complaint will go?
Well, it's going to go the highest where it could go.
Are you thinking of hiring an attorney and suing the district?
Well, I'm not going to go there and make any comments at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I understand. It's just a
Yeah.
lowly TV
But
show.
we will go wherever it needs to go if they don't give the services that they need to do to the students, which they're not doing that at all. We don't even have a ESL director at this point. So we as a parents are not happy about that.
Well, let me put you on the spot, and that is, how do you feel about the proposition in California which challenged and removed ESL as a program in the California schools? And I know Oregon is not California.
That's right. So that's the good thing. You just said it. Oregon is not California, so.
So how do you feel about that proposition? I forgot, what was it, 209 or 153 or something?
It was, I think, 147, if I'm
Okay.
not something like that. Well, I don't agree with that proposition, yeah.
Okay. And sir, and your name, ma'am?
Marta Wembes.
Okay, and sir, are you a member of CMAC as
Yes,
well?
I am.
Were you at the demonstration or the sit-in at Boyce Elliott?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, were you,
Unfortunately, I had to work that day.
would you be willing to bail these jokers out of jail?
If it comes to that.
Okay, well, thank you. Did you want to say anything?
No, other than I worked with Halim. Actually, we started back in the early 70s when we used to be called DMAC. And from there, I think we sort of broke up, and then now we came back because of the same issues. These issues have never died. I mean, we're talking 20 years down the road, and we're still having the same problems.
Tell them who you represent.
I represent the Native American community in Portland area, and my main concern when I first got started was the loss of a lot of Native Americans. They're such a minority within the district, they're overlooked. And a lot of our kids are getting lost between the 8th and 9th grade years, and there's no tracking system for them. The highest population in the special education department is Native Americans, and my main concern is a lack of communication. A lot of people are transient. They come from rural areas, reservation areas, and then they come here for the school years. Then they run into the problems with a lack of communication, and then there's no support for them within the districts. And if you look in the district personnel staff, you don't have any American Indian teachers. You don't have American Indian counselors, administrators. So what do the families have to turn to at this point, other than this organization here?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank CMAC for coming, and I wish you the best of luck in all your agitation. And thanks for representing. You think that's funny? Well, really, we need someone to agitate, because I can't always agitate like I should. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yours, come here. Antoinette and Cynthia? Where's Cynthia at? Did she leave? Tina, where your mom? Okay, DJ, can you come down here? And we're going to get the band to set up and play very quietly, and Sandra's going to set up the food. All right? Antoinette, when you come down here, Bruce? Yvette, will you come here too? We have something for you. Sandra? Hey, DJ, come here. Sandra?
They were on TV.
I need DJ. No, nobody watch this show. Don't. Yep. And Loris, what you think of the video? And I appreciate you coming to our second premiere party.
I thought the video was great. I liked the kids and what they did.
What about your experience with the Portland Public School? What school did you go to?
I went to Benton High School and then I was transferred over to Jeff.
What do you remember about your math class?
My math class. I was pretty advanced in math, but after I got to like calculus, then it didn't seem like math anymore, so I kind of like lost interest.
You understand in the trades and so forth, you can use calculus to solve for X and make some big money like DJ here. She came up in her rose.
Yeah, I sure do.
Tell me, how do you use math in what you do? Now, you make T-shirts for Horizon Up, and tell us what that organization is all about.
Well, I'm 22 years old and I started me a t-shirt business called Horizon Up, which is 2 words, is broaden your horizons, and then you start to rise up to any occasion. So I use math in many ways, like when I'm mixing colors. Like if you take, I call them shots, and if you take 1 shot of black to a quarter white, then you'll get an off-white. But if you take 10 shots of black and add it to the same amount of white, then you'll get gray. And that's just 1 color. I mean, you got other colors like purple, violet, and green, which you can make from your 3 primary colors, which is red, yellow, and blue. So mathematics is everywhere.
I also want to point out that Loris was able to give us our first draft for our graphic, which is the fist. So we appreciate you. We took that graphic and evolved it and developed it to the graphic that you see on the screen. So good work. Good work. Thank you. DJ was one of our math in the trades people. And I appreciate you letting us come in and talk to you about how you use math in your everyday life. What do you think of the video?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I think it's very humorous, which keeps people's interest, and the kids did very well. And I'm glad that I appreciate being part of it.
Well, we appreciate you having us, and you can show it to your co-workers and everything. So thank you very much for all your help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, DJ. Antoinette Edwards has been very involved in social service here in the Portland area. And ironically, we used the social service model to teach math, where we used the relationship model. So Antoinette, this is your first premiere party that you've been with, and this is the first video you're not in for a while. So what do you think of the video?
Oh, it was superb. I'm very proud of you and the people that participated. I love the diversity. Very good.
If there was anything you would change, any advice how we could do it better?
No, I just say keep doing what you're doing and go girl.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Did you tell me who you were? Yes. Okay. Cynthia is, we need one for Cynthia. Cynthia is one of our parents, and I was very proud that we finally had parental involvement in one of our videos. What'd you think of the video, Cynthia? I know you're not mad at me enough to put you.
It was nice. It was a nice video.
Any advice how we could do it better? And we're going to leave you in there, all right?
Okay, that's fine. No, it was okay.
You know, I thought it was real interesting, and you hit on a couple of points how, how the school district would just keep passing your kid, and you think your child is doing well, and then finally come to find out that was your true experience.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
Any advice to other parents?
Just check on your kids.
All right, thank you. We need Yvette Shepard. Yvette Shepard was also another parent in the video. Yvette, what'd you think of the video?
I thought the video was very educational in the sense that it helped our children to recognize the potential that they have inside of them. And it's encouraging that someone, like I said earlier, compels them to push forward and strive to do more.
Any advice how we could have made a better video?
No, I thought the concept and the way that you came across was very well. Like I said, I see the growth in my child. Again, she's an honor roll student and has been for a while, and all this did was give her extra tools to help as she progresses on.
Okay. What advice could you give the parents?
Well, I think one thing that parents need to always remember is to always be involved in your children's school. I make visits to my daughter's school, and when she comes home from school, I make sure that I keep her involved in her homework, and if she's having questions or she needs assistance, I help her out, and that's just how I like to do it.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Thank you for being in Revolutionary Math. I guess we couldn't get Faye up here for nothing in the world. How you doing? Tell us, what do you think of the video?
The video is great.
What did you like about it?
Revolutionary, the video, brought math to life. So math is real, and the video made math real. And it also showed that Revolutionary Math is a real program with real results that showed that our children can learn, which is something we always believe, and proved it. And it's what our children deserve to learn.
Well, tell me, for those of you who don't know, this is a political candidate, and we're not holding that against her. But I don't mean to ask you a corny question, but how do you use math in your candidacy and all that?
Well, first of all, I use math to be able to count my contributions, and I have to be able to figure out which ones I don't have yet and get some more. But I also use math in my candidacies in the substance of it, because I have to know how many one of the things I talk about a lot are statistics. I talk about the fact that there are, of the households that are in this community that are headed by women in Multnomah County, 50% of them are in poverty. Math is real in how it affects our lives and how it affects the people's lives in this community. I've got to be able to understand that if I'm going to be an effective politician and a candidate.
You know, it's probably a good chance by the time we edit and air this, you would have won. What can we expect from your term?
I think we can expect that I want the dollars we spend in this community to be dollars that work. And I'd like to see dollars go to programs like Revolutionary Math, programs that prove that they work and they prove that investing in our children reaps rewards.
Well, that's going to be difficult for you to do once, hey, you guys. That'll be difficult for you to do once you get in there. You know, you have to deal with a very powerful teachers union. And let me put you on the spot. Ha, 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 ha. How are you going to deal with because there's the infrastructure. It seems like other people who have power have a vested interest in keeping it the way it is, even though it doesn't work for our children.
Well, I don't think it's all about teachers. I think we've got an entire system, a very complex educational system that isn't working the way that it needs to work. And we need to not only hold the schools accountable, but we as a community need to come together to support those efforts. And the kinds of things I can do at the county are, number one, bring the issues to light and continue to talk about these statistics and figures that we see at the school district. But I can also make sure that the dollars we spend at the county that are the typical county dollars that get kids ready to learn and keep them in school, those are things that we can do outside of the infrastructure of the school that make it so that when teachers are teaching kids, that they're actually working on teaching instead of classroom management. So I think those are some of the things that I can begin to do. But I'm not naive. It will be tough. It's not a simple thing at all that I'm trying to take on, but one that I look forward to and one that we all need to work together to make sure works. Otherwise, we're going to continue to see the poverty in our community go up.
Well, we appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you
care.
very much.
Hi, how you doing? Could you introduce yourself?
Raleigh Lewis.
From the Coalition of Black Men.
Right.
One of our supporters. Raleigh, what did you think of the video?
I thought the video was great. The coalition would like to commend you and your students. One, for doing an exceptional video, and two, for demonstrating to all the onlookers what a lot of people have always known, that children of color can learn, particularly math and anything else that they set their minds to. And we encourage you to continue to do this work, and for parents to work with their children, encourage them, love them, and celebrate in the success that they are experiencing by demonstrating that they can, in fact, do things that people have told them for so long that they lack the ability. And that ability will transfer into many other things in life that they will pursue. Success can be theirs.
Yes, it can. Thank you. Thank you, Raleigh. Anybody else want to talk on camera? Yes. Oh, Lord. Faye? Gloria?
I mean, you supposed to do just on the spur of the moment, you know? You supposed to just... No, it's going to be on TV. Okay, now it's all rehearsed. Okay. Take two.
Ready.
These are for you, Lanita.
Who's Lanita?
Miss Duke.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to thank everybody I know. I just want to thank the talent for putting up with me all summer. You guys did a fantastic job. It was truly revolutionary what you did.
And we all love you. We all support you and everything you do. And we'll always be there for you when you need us. And here's your card.
Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, is the food ready? Oh, Diane. Lillian, come down here. Has Mrs. Smith left? Cornetta left? I can't see. She has. Diane, you want to finish this TV show? Come on, Lillian. I gave you a